Jay, before we start,
Go on.
can I tell a story?
You can.
Okay. I have to let your audience know how this book even became. Okay. They have to know, Jay.
Okay.
All right. So I visit you. I'm here visiting because Swami's here. Radhanath Swami's here. And you had often said, Jada, you should write a book. I'm like, Jay, I don't want to. So this day, once again, you're like, Jada, you should write a book. And I'm like, Jay, I don't want to write a book. You're like, well, you should write a book, Jay. I don't want to write a book. We're going back and forth like siblings. Radhanath comes into the kitchen because Roddy's making a beautiful lunch for us to eat. He comes, he sits down, he goes, Jay, if Jada doesn't want to write a book, she doesn't have to write a book. And you go, well, I think she should write a book. And I was like, oh, did he just talk back to Swami? But I'm going to tell you something. That was a moment for me, right? Because because I'd been pushing back for a long time and you talking to me about it. And that moment, I was like, okay, I need you to take that home and I need you to think about it because Jay's your brother. There's something here that you might not be seeing. And it was really that moment that put me on pause. And a couple of days later, I was in meditation and it came to me. And I said, oh my goodness, my journey from unlovable to lovable is a worthy story to tell. And I called you and I said, Jay, I got it. Thank you. But you were so persistent about it, right? And I just want to thank you because honestly, and I'm not, if it hadn't been for that moment, that book wouldn't be here right now, right? And you really were on my neck about it for a long time. So I just want to say thank you because you also made it clear. You were like, you made it clear to me I would get a lot out of it, and I have. So I just want to say thank you. It's been such a deep healing process for me in ways that I could have never imagined, And what you said before, we even started in the introduction, just that hope of, it's so hard to find authentic happiness in this world. Even through my journey, my 52 years, and just trying to figure out how to be authentically happy has been such an excruciating process. And one of the purposes of this book is like, if I can help in any small amount of way, in any way possible, to help somebody have an easier or just leave like little breadcrumbs, kind of like not a blueprint, because everybody's process is different, but just little breadcrumbs of how to find that for yourself. Because it has been really difficult for me. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me. And I think I blocked that memory out because I don't think I've ever tried to stand up against Radhanath Swami, my teacher before. I think that would, so I've pretended that it didn't happen.
That did it.
For me, growing up, reading autobiographies is what changed my life. And I think one of the things that I feel we struggle with today is that people's narratives are being told from so many different angles apart from their own. And when I grew up and I was reading the words of Martin Luther King or I was reading Malcolm X, I found there to be so much power in reading the words directly from an individual. And so even if that wasn't their autobiography, if it was their work, their words, you felt so intimately connected with that person. And I feel that when people move on and we don't have them on the planet anymore, it's almost like you lose this treasure house of experience and memories. And I also think that if someone's listening or watching right now and you're thinking, well, Jay, I would never write a book. I'm not a public figure. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a musician or an actor. I don't have a career path that means I should be an author. I still think that telling your story, whether it's to your family, your kids, is so important.
I could not agree with you more. I think it's actually imperative that looking at your life on the page, like you forget experiences. You know, you forget like, oh my goodness, I did that. Oh, I went through that. Oh my God, really? I came through that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's almost like an homage to yourself, honestly, to really be able to look at your life and go, wow, what a life. I think everybody should take some time, even if it's just one, like, because even with Worthy, I took one line, which was unlovable to lovable. So anything in regards to my life that was on that arc, I talked about. But there's so much more, so many other parts of my life, right? So even if somebody says, you know what, I just want to, you know, write down the happiest moments of my childhood. And I want to just look at that on paper, right? But whatever journey somebody decides to pick from their life and to examine thoroughly on the page, I would definitely suggest that, because it is really powerful and it's so healing, and it will teach you so much about yourself.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Let's dive in.
Okay.
Because that journey of being unlovable to lovable, as you're tracing there, I think is a journey that we all have to walk in our own ways. And I think when, you know, I met you, I think 5 years ago now. We've just spent a lot of time together in the last 5 years, hence we have a deep connection. But when I first met you, I was looking at you from the outside. And over the last 5 years, I've got to know you through an inner journey and you know, through family as well, and through spending time with your family. And what I found was that we often lose context when you view someone's life from the outside. And when you get closer, the greatest thing you get is context.